Hello and welcome. I'm Clinton Navigator Bowman, Senior Editor of the Outerhaven Productions, and welcome to the Xperience, episode number 0. This is an introduction to what the Xperience is going to be, a Microsoft Xbox focused podcast. You can call it Xbox-centric if you want, because you know we already have Sony-centric. But let me introduce you to the co-host of the show. He is the editor-in-chief of the Outerhaven Productions. His name is Keith Mitchell. What's up, Keith?
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day.
I'm having a fantastic Sunday. So this is Sunday, May 1st, the first day of May.
And it's raining.
And it's not raining over here yet.
Oh, it's coming.
It was coming. I'm waiting for it. It's coming. And I just came off of spring break because Passover, because thank you to the Jewish community in New York City for, mostly dominating the schools. So we get these vacations. But that being said, Keith, you just came from outside. You just came from outside. You went to go get some food and stuff like that. I know when you came out of the rain, you just wanted it to go away, didn't you?
I wanted to go away because there's stuff I need to do, like cutting grass and all that fun stuff. Still unpack from PAX East because that's still a thing.
Yeah, I know.
And a bunch of other things that I just really want to do. It's May, the first day of May. Get your grass ready, get your backyard squared away. Barbecue season is coming soon. I got a lot of stuff to do. The fall and the winter was not kind to my backyard
at all.
Yeah, but rain doesn't help me, so yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, at least Thursday is Cinco de Mayo, so that's something. If you drink,
I don't drink. I do not drink. I think I'm the only guy in the world that doesn't drink.
You would be surprised. All right, so back to the Xbox experience, the Xperience, as we like to call it. The Xperience is a podcast focused on Microsoft Xbox news, as I said earlier. Now, myself and Keith will be doing this every 2 weeks until news starts to pick up. Once news starts to pick up, so that's around E3. So potentially for the month of June, we're probably going to be doing 4 episodes as opposed to 2 per month. Because obviously there's going to be a lot to talk about. And in 10 minutes, maybe 15, you can't do that. So, Keith, talk about your experience with the Xbox brand in general. I feel like that's a good way to start and introduce this.
Well, prior to the Xbox, I was and still am a PC-centric guy. Most of my gaming was on the PC. I dabbled in consoles for quite a number of years, starting with the Nintendo Entertainment System, Sega Master System, and television, ColecoVision. So I'm probably the oldest gamer on the Outerhaven site.
He says, time out. You just said the ColecoVision and the Intellivision.
Yeah,
I give you props for that.
Even Sears home console, that was a thing way back.
Oh man. Damn.
But I've been dealing with the Xbox ever since the Xbox came to inception. I remember hating the system briefly because of a little known game called Halo that was actually supposed to be coming out for the PC until Microsoft decided we're going to do our own console, and it never made its way to the PC until many years later. So my Xbox experience, it's funny, started on the original Xbox, and I've owned every Xbox since then, sometimes multiple Xboxes. I've had about 3 Xbox 360s, 2 original Xboxes, and my Xbox One that I still play every day for certain games.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty versed in Xbox gaming.
For me, my Xbox experience really started with the Xbox 360. It didn't start with the original Xbox because I couldn't afford it at the time. Single parent, working to raise 2 kids. You're not really going to be able to afford it. I think up until about 2002, I had an original 2002, 2003. I had an original PlayStation and a Nintendo 64. That whole time. So, I was basically still on that old generation. My Xbox 360 was the console of my choice. Like, legit. I didn't get a PS3 until late in its life. And I'll be honest with you, my Xbox 360 still gets a lot of play. I got the Xbox One first for the new generation as well. So I've had all 3 Xboxes. I got the original Xbox when it got really cheap. Remember when it got to like $50 at GameStop?
No, I don't remember that.
Killing me here. Like, it got cheap, so I picked it up for like $50, and I was able to play some of the games. I even modded it to, go do the homebrew stuff. So, like, that was my experience with the Xbox brand. And one of my favorite things about Xbox brand is that they mastered the art of the online marketplace for gaming. And I still think to this day, personally, they have the best online market for games. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
I would say they have the best online market for console gaming.
Right. For console gaming.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
If
most
you
of
were
my
to say, if you were to say gaming, I would have to interject and like, well, there is this thing called Steam.
No,
You
for
know.
me, my main experience, while I am a PC gamer now, my main experience is still with consoles because that's all I've really had ever since the NES. You know, like I've only really had consoles. I've only started dabbling with the PC gaming universe. I want to say when I met Keith. Like when I met Keith and started talking about like upgrading and building PCs. So that's one of the bigger things there. So E3's coming up in about a month.
A month.
About a month.
Month and a half, give or
Yeah,
take.
a month and 10 days. Microsoft apparently has plans to reveal new hardware.
Well, let's put it in parentheses. It's speculated that they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's why I said allegedly, but
yeah,
allegedly has plans to release new hardware and a new controller. Brad Sams reported on Paul Thurrott's blog, who on Thurrott's blog, I'm going to be honest, has been spot on about Microsoft in the past. So I'm kind of giving it a little bit of merit, but I'm still holding it with a little bit of salt. He cites sources within Microsoft, and they're saying that the company is going to announce a brand new Xbox device at its E3 briefing, along with a new Xbox controller. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I remember when they did this for the Xbox 360 and they released the Slim console. But they didn't do and they also did a new controller with the transforming D-pad.
Man, nobody remembers that thing.
But, I mean, I have one.
That thing did not live very long. I mean, they were like, oh, all right, move on, next.
Yeah, I had one. All right? I still have one.
It was a good idea. It was a very good idea.
It works for fighting games. It works for fighting games. It just didn't catch on because,
right.
Fight sticks, Mad Cats. That was the thing. We got the Elite controller already. That's the thing. The Elite controller just came out. As you stated in previous podcasts, the Xbox One controller had about $100 million in development costs.
$100 million. Think about that for a second.
$100 million in development costs. My question is this, Keith, hearing this about the Xbox One, where we might see a physical refresh of not only the console, but the controller. What's your thought? Well, do you think it's the right step? Do you think that you're screwing people that basically spent $150 on an Elite controller?
Well, okay, so let me back up. So I do have an Elite controller. Again, it was $150. I don't want to say that they're screwing their audience if they go about it the correct way. Now, we touched about this on our last podcast, Outerhaven podcast, episode 107. So if you want to check that out, you can listen to the thoughts on there. But I'm going to mirror them here. If they come out with a new controller and it's a refresh, add new features that aren't even included in the Elite, which is supposed to be your top of the line Xbox One controller, then yes, they are doing a huge injustice to those who picked up that controller. Now, if you're just making small cosmetic changes that really don't interfere with features, functionality, don't include anything that came with the Elite, then I would be okay with that. So if you're upgrading it, like, oh, hey, we're giving you a better D-pad. Oh, hey, by the way, we're giving. This is not going to happen. To say we're going to give you a rapid fire function because who the hell uses that anymore? Or something out of the box, something unorthodox you wouldn't think of that they would offer. Then fine. Right. Like, even if you gave us a grip, I mean, you should have gave us a grip on the Elite. That would have been a fantastic idea. But I really don't see them doing anything. But at the same time, you just came out with a revamped Xbox One controller, which came with a 3.5 millimeter jack on it.
Yeah, but that was it.
That was it. But you made a huge deal about it. It was like, oh, new Xbox controller coming. And it was like, oh, it's just this. That's not really a big deal, Microsoft.
I mean, I could see them going the Sony route and just basically putting a built-in battery.
I don't see that
into the if they do, but what if they do?
It'll be a step backwards.
You think? What if it has better battery life?
It's impossible. That's the problem. You're gonna put a built-in controller, and okay, the PlayStation 4 has what I think it's like 1,000 ohms in there.
A 5-hour battery life?
Yeah, if that. As it wears down, the cells start dying. You get less battery life. At the same time, if you were to do that to the Xbox One controller, you know how many people have invested in third-party batteries, kits, and chargers. You know how much even the Xbox One Elite controller, how much money people invested in that.
I bought the controller. No, when I got my Xbox One, I had paid another $24.99 to go get the first party battery pack.
But I think that would be a big injustice if you started saying, "Oh, hey, we're going to include it with the controller built in." No, I don't like that idea. That's a bad idea. I don't want to see that happen, and I don't think Microsoft is that silly to do that. Bad idea.
Do you think? All right. So, question: Do you think that if there is a controller refresh, I mean, if you had to speculate what the refresh would be, what do you think it would be? Would it be akin to the from the Duke to the Duchess?
I think what they could possibly do is
take
hold on. Features.
Can I specify? When I say the Duke, I say the original Xbox controller, and the Duchess is the Xbox S. That's what I'm talking about.
I only see two things, nothing akin to what they did back then. Those are drastic changes, and we don't call it Duchess. We call it Type S, man.
Yeah, but it sounds so much better.
If anything, I see them taking features from the Xbox Elite controller and putting them into the original Xbox 360 controller. The button mapping feature is actually really nice. I don't see them going as far as swapping out the analog buttons or the D-pad. Maybe put the transforming D-pad back in because that's the thing for fighting games. Currency would benefit from that. At the same time, I also like the fact that they have distance travel for the triggers. That's also something they can put in there and not put in the pads. The trigger pads,
the bumpers.
Yeah, at the bottom. Don't do that. I can see those features making it over to the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, like make it an Elite controller, but an Elite Light.
Take out the metal. Take out the thumb swap out. Take out the D-pad swap out. Add in the new triggers, which are really good.
And even transforming D-pad from the 360 controller.
And put in grips. Put on grips.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you really want to get wild, and we talked about this as well, you can put symmetrical analog sticks on there, which I don't see that happening.
I mean, remember, it's an identity for Xbox, and I don't think that's going to change. That the way they have the thumbsticks is an identity for them.
True.
So I mean, people are like, "Oh, I don't like it," but I'm like, it's their identity. Like Sony has their identity with their DualShock, Nintendo has their identity with their Wii Pro controller and their gamepad. Microsoft, this is their identity. I would even bargain to say, bring back if they take. I know they might take out the Kinect port, which kind of irks me because the Kinect was such a good idea. It's just the gamers, just didn't see past gaming. Would you say that?
No.
What would you say?
I wouldn't even think that they would consider that because there are still people that don't like the Kinect. At the same time, there are people who do like the Kinect.
Like, I love the Kinect.
I didn't think they would touch that.
Like the Kinect, dude, the Kinect for like Netflix, freaking priceless. Awesome.
But you're talking about the system now. You kind of moved off the controller to the system.
Yeah. Well, the system. The system isn't the system also due for a refresh as well?
No, I don't think it's due yet.
I mean, that's what the report is saying. So I mean, speculatory.
This is where I get into a little different territory from the PlayStation 4.5 or PlayStation Neo. The PlayStation, I think, is in a great spot. It doesn't need a refresh. If they're going to do a refresh, then fine. I'm tired of fighting, arguing people about it. The Xbox One, on the other hand, definitely could benefit from that because it's unfortunately, even though the system setup is similar to the PlayStation 4, it suffers in ports badly. We're looking at 980p, 900p resolution games or below.
Right.
Less than 60 frames per second, and only apparently studios that work directly with Microsoft can make magic with the game and get it, 1080p, 60 frames per second games. Everybody else, sub 60, sub 1080p resolution, which is your eye can't really tell, but a lot of people can see that. I can see the difference, and it just irks me the wrong way when I have both the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it's like, hey, this one does this. Hey, this one was supposed to do this, and it doesn't.
Right.
So I think it could benefit from a hardware refresh if you're talking about added features, but at the same time, I'm also going to say that I still would feel a little jaded if you did that because, or slated, what's the word I'm looking for?
Slated.
Because I still also spent $500 on the system no more than 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And
you dropped $500 on the system.
Yeah, and I would be like, well, are you going to give me a discount, or are you going to let me trade in my system? And not even that, dude. I had the original Xbox One. I pre-ordered that like 3-4 months before it came out, and then I traded in not too long ago and picked up the Elite version of with the bigger hard drive, the solid state hybrid drive.
Yep.
You mean to tell me after you just came out with that system, it was just a hard drive upgrade with a significant change in load times, you're gonna come out with another system?
Unless it dissipates heat better.
Now this actually does a good job with heat.
I know it does.
That's why it's so damn loud.
No, but what I'm saying, if it dissipates heat better in terms of like, if it dissipates heat better in terms of, it gets quieter, or
I don't see that happening.
Like, I don't see it happening either, but it's possible. It's still in the realm of possibility. Or, you've essentially unlocked the stuff to let, third-party developers go in and do 1080p at, 60 frames a second on your console, then yeah.
No, that's not possible. Unless, again, they do an actual hardware refresh. And the problem that the Xbox has with the architecture, and I'm sorry to cut you off, is it's not so much, the RAM or the process. It's the way that it handles everything down at the bare metal level. Right. That's what's giving people issues. Think of it back in the day with the Saturn, how everybody bitched about how hard it was to program on a Saturn.
Well, also, I mean, the way they do it is like this, because the Xbox is a Windows operating system. Right. Like, it's purely Windows. So it's not like Sony, where the operating system is just what we get with the Sony PlayStation 4. It's Windows, like with the Xbox One, if I remember correctly, it's Windows. Now it's Windows 10. It was Windows 8. It was Windows 8 or 10.
Windows 8.
Then the Xbox OS on top of it. And then everything else.
Right.
So there's not that much room. You get, because the Xbox OS is there, the developers don't get that much room to play around with it. And they're not familiar with it. So where Microsoft is like, okay, I'm familiar with everything that's here, I can pull out that extra 180p.
Well, see, the problem is it's not that. Okay, so breakdown of all what's happening here with the Xbox One.
All right.
Is the hardware, not so much the software. Software you can only optimize and tweak to a point. If the hardware is lacking, you have an issue. Now the problem with Xbox One,
but isn't the hardware the same though?
Here's the problem. They went with a different type of memory with the Xbox One. It also has, I remember, it also has a lower compute number, and it also has less memory bandwidth. That was the issue that people kept saying, hey, that may be a problem for the pipe, and it is a problem. Remember when they were going back, they were Microsoft went with the the ESRAM.
Right.
And everybody was saying, hey, that's unproven. Why are you doing that?
Okay.
And I don't know if it was, for cost savings.
I think it was a cost saving kind of thing for them. Like, it sounds like it.
I remember Microsoft was like, this is going to be huge for us. This is going to be awesome. And everybody was like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
So Microsoft essentially took a risk.
Yeah, they took a risk.
And the risk didn't pay off.
It's not paying off right now.
I mean, if the refresh for the console means a different hardware, yet it's still the Xbox One. We already said what that kind of means for people that bought the Elite and the original Xbox One. So it's a frustration. You know what? I'm sitting there thinking, now I got to go trade in my Xbox One if they do that, right?
Well, here's the thing. If they offer you anything for your system, that's the problem. I mean, all right, so let's back up again for a second. Let's get into the technical ramifications of what the actual issue is and why I'm saying software is not going to fix the issue, and a hardware refresh will definitely fix the issue.
But it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be fun.
It's not going to be fun. So when you look at the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, the schematics, and I'm going off a lot of this is off of memory, guys. So I'm bringing up some stuff as well, but a lot of this is off of memory. They both use the same architecture, which was the AMD Jaguar. They both have 8 CPU cores, 8 threads. They both are running at 1.6 gigahertz. I think Xbox may have gone a little further. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think by much. But the problem was the number of GPU cores that the Xbox had. It hit like 760 or something to the point where the PlayStation 4 was like almost 1,200. It was like 1,100 something. It almost doubled the amount of CPU cores. The shader throughput was also a big issue. The Xbox One had like 1.2 teraflops, and the PlayStation 4 was like 1.8.
Right.
There also was an issue in regards to speed of the system memory. They both have 8 gigs of onboard system memory, which they have to use. It's shared memory.
Yes.
But the Xbox One was like 2,100, I believe, and it was DDR3, and the PlayStation 4 was using DDR5. I think it was like
right.
What was it, like 5,200, 5,500, one or two. And I think the system. Let me look this up. Yeah. The system memory bandwidth was also an issue where the Xbox One was running at 68 gigs per second.
Right.
And PlayStation 4 was like, 170 something gigs per second.
Okay.
So again, it almost doubled that as well. It has a wider pipe.
Okay.
So those were a lot of contributing factors. And while software optimization is helping them bridge the gap, you can only do so much with hardware. If the hardware is lacking, you're not going to make it up. That's the problem. So
okay.
On paper, those specs are like, they're similar, but if you come from a PC background, a lot between bigger pipes give you more ability to send data back and forth consistently,
yes,
or constantly, versus go, wait, or send data at the same time but at a slower speed, and that's where the Xbox is lacking.
So the question,
go ahead.
So the question remains, if we're gonna touch on that one. Does Microsoft go for the change? For the hardware change? Is it the wisest idea?
Is it the wisest idea? No. Is it something that's needed? It depends on how far they plan on going with the Xbox One. The problem with that is, and we're going to a different subject here, is a lot of people are worried about the future of the Xbox One, and the Microsoft Xbox brand, because they're moving more and more of their games over to the PC platform.
I don't think it's a different subject. I think it's all related, to a sense.
Well, the problem that I have is I'm grateful that Microsoft is finally giving some love to the PC gamers, but at the same time, it's like, you shouldn't give us everything. There still should be a reason why you want us to buy the Xbox One. They should be able to consist in the same world, similar to what Sony should have did with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita or the PSP. Give us games that want us to have that system. Like, as much as everybody says, I want Gears of War 4 to come to the PC, if there's a reason for you to get it on the Xbox One, it might be best for that game to stay on the Xbox One, at least for a year or so. Then bring it over to the PC.
I would definitely do that. Like,
and another reason for that is, the last couple of ports that Microsoft has done for the PC have been terrible.
Outside of Killer Instinct might be the best port they did,
and that was still had issues.
Yeah. I'll throw it out. I'll throw it out there for you. We're getting a beta for Apex. Is it the beta or is the game coming out? It's the beta, right?
It's the beta. Yeah, and it's coming out soon.
Coming out on Cinco de Mayo.
Yep.
So the beta for Forza 6 Apex, remember, that's still a very stripped down version of Forza.
Yeah, but I think this is a test go, because remember, they stated every version of Forza coming out will be both on the PC and the Xbox simultaneous release. So this is a test. This is going to be their big test.
Right. To see if they're going to actively do, if Forza 7 does happen to come out, is Forza 7 going to be the same on PC as it is on Xbox One, or is it going to be a truncated version like they're doing with Apex?
It can't be, because they stated when they didn't say if, they said when they come out new versions, it will be on both systems. So you can't give us a truncated version if you were getting out at the same time.
Okay. I mean, it also depends on how they decide to implement it on the Xbox One and the Windows 10 store. Because if they do the 10 store and they implement like where it's like, oh, there's more microtransactions on the Windows 10 store as opposed to the Xbox store, then that's a reason to be like, hey, get it for the Xbox One because you're spending less money,
right?
Or something like that. Or oh, we're gonna have exclusive cars on the Xbox One as opposed to the Windows 10
now,
version.
that is something that I kind of don't really agree with, yet I don't 100% disagree with that. You have to have some kind of exclusivity in order to have somebody pick up something like, hey, this one gets an exclusive Xbox One car, or hey, this one gets an exclusive PC car. But if you're going to make it something exclusive, it has to be cosmetic. It has to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. Cosmetic. I mean, technically, a car is a cosmetic update.
Only if it's a skin difference.
A skin, yeah.
Yeah,
hey,
this is like you have the McLaren F1, but this is the Xbox version. This is the Windows 10 version.
Right.
Technically, the cars are the same because all you have to do is have somebody, oh, hi, I got the exclusive car on the PC, and you can't beat it on the Xbox One, and vice versa. Don't do that. That is a bad way to segment your fans. Don't do that.
You can't segregate or segment your audience. Segment is a better word than segregate.
It would be bad if you did that.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, listen, I feel now, don't get it twisted. Now, with Quantum Break, let's take a look at Quantum Break, which
that's not. That was a bad port. Speaking of which, I actually finally did pick that up for the PC. I'm sorry, nice. Reverse for the Xbox One.
Okay.
I picked it up 2 days ago.
No, what I'm saying about Quantum Break, let's say for the PC. Let's put it in perspective for the PC. Imagine if they did exclusive DLC for that in terms of for the Xbox One or for the PC. Good idea, bad idea?
I'm undecided, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
let me ask you that same question. What do you think? See,
yeah, I'm in the same boat.
So there's no clear answer for that.
I had to laugh at that. I'm in the same boat. I mean, even so much so, and it's funny. Like when I look at Killer Instinct, there's exclusivity in terms of Killer Instinct because Killer Instinct, if you get the Ultra Edition, right? Remember, the KI Classic games are not available on Windows 10.
Right.
So you still go and get it for the Xbox and you get more. You're paying a little more, but you get more for it. So that shouldn't be such a bad thing. I don't know. So are we done with this conversation? I feel like we've stretched it out.
Exhausted the conversation.
I think we stretched it out as far as possible.
Well, I guess since this is the first episode, we don't want to give you guys too much. But now that it's done, how about we go with a question for everybody else and for you as well? What games for the Xbox One or Windows 10 are you looking forward to right now?
Honestly, I'm actually looking forward to see how Apex does.
Really?
Yeah, I want to see what Apex has to offer for at least Windows 10. In terms of Xbox One, Gears 4?
Yeah, I was going to say Gears 4. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to right now as I play it right now.
Because I'm not going to lie, most of the games I have are either on the 3DS, the PlayStation 4, or Steam that I play the most. So, I mean, there's not really much I'm looking forward to on Xbox One. But speaking of games to look forward to on Xbox One, if you haven't bought these games, let's say you haven't bought these games yet, and you have Xbox Live Gold, it's May 1st. So Xbox Live Games for Gold for May has refreshed, quote unquote. Depends on what the game is. Remember, Xbox 360 games are now backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So whatever game that comes out for Games for Gold on the Xbox 360 will be on Xbox Games for Gold, as well as other games that they're working on because they just put Garou Mark of the Wolves on the Xbox One, increasingly decreasing the need of me having an Xbox 360. So this month, May 31st to the 31st, we have Defense Grid 2, which is normally $15. Costume Quest 2 will be available May 16th. And until May 15th, if you haven't picked up Sunset Overdrive, Keith, did you pick up Sunset Overdrive?
Yep.
Pick up Sunset Overdrive. It's a fun game. Trust me.
I already said that. I already got it.
I know. No, I'm not. I'm telling everybody else.
Yeah, you definitely should get that game.
Get that game. I'm going to link a review. I'm going to link my review of the game on the YouTubes and the article.
On the YouTubes.
On the YouTube, you'll see a link to the Sunset Overdrive review. You want to see it? You want to check it out? It's a fun game.
But yeah, only game I'm looking forward to is Gears of War 4.
Right. Xbox 360 Games for Gold Grid 2 is going to be available from now until the 15th. Normally $15.
How did that do on the Xbox?
Grid 2?
Yeah.
It did pretty well.
I mean, I loved it on the PC, but I never played on the Xbox.
I mean, that's the power of Wikipedia. Get that whole reception. It received positive reviews from critics. On the PlayStation 3 version, got like 80% overall on Metacritic, and and about 78% overall for the 360 version. So it did pretty well. And then you also have Peggle from the 16th.
People still play that game, really?
Yes, they do.
Peggle
was a fun game.
I was not a fan of Peggle.
Do you really play puzzle games like that?
I do.
Okay, I stand corrected. And then obviously May 1st marks the end of the Xbox One being $300. However, it's still technically $300 if you go to,
it's not.
It's still technically $300 if you go to some retailers across the United States, including GameStop, Amazon, Target, and Best Buy. You get a $50 in-store gift card with the purchase of a new Xbox One. So yes, you're paying $350, but you're getting that $50 back as a gift card. So there, you can go to the Xbox.com webpage to check out all the available Xbox One bundles and retailer information for that. So that's not so bad. There's the Quantum Break bundle. You got the Rainbow Six Siege bundle, which is $400 and a 1 terabyte hard drive. You have the Name Your Game bundle with the choice between Gears of War, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Forza 6, or Rare Replay. The 1 terabyte Division bundle, which is $400. The Spring bundle, which comes with Ori, Rare Replay, Gears of War Ultimate, and Halo 5, and a 1 terabyte hard drive for $400.
Halo 5. That poor game.
You got the Gears of War for $350. Both in black and white. And then you got the holiday bundle, which is like, there's a ton of bundles. And then you have the $500 Elite bundle. So there's that. And the $400 Kinect bundle. Because remember that?
Kinect? I like my Kinect. I don't like it for gaming, but I like the fact when I come in the house, it's like, hey, Keith, how are you doing?
I know. No, don't get me wrong. The Kinect for Dance Central is fantastic. It's a good idea. Like, that's the only game it really works with. But other than that, yeah. I would like to be notified that when I come in the house that my Xbox appreciates me and loves me for who I am.
I don't know about all that. It just says hi.
I mean, hey, hi means a lot. Hi definitely means a lot. All right, so the next episode of the Xperience will be coming to your ears, recorded on May 15th, but it will be on your TV, your monitors, and your MP3 players, if people still use that.
People still use MP3 players.
Okay.
A couple of my packs.
Yeah, I mean, mostly people use like cell phones and whatnot, but it will be there March 16th. Today, you'll see the upload on May 2nd for this one, and that'll be the official episode 1 coming to your ears on May 16th. For Keith,
stay tuned.
Yes, definitely. For Keith, I'm Clinton Navigator Bowman. Check out all the podcasts that we have here. The A1 podcast, the Outerhaven podcast. Check out Sony-centric with Mark and Jason, as well as our Post-PAX podcast, which will be coming to your ears soon. Peace out, guys.